Hi, everybody. We're coming to the portion that everybody is waiting for, the portion of Beshalach. I think you heard everything about this week talk, uh, this week's section. And we know that in this week, the Israelite was slave for a long, long time in Egypt under the supervision of evil Pharaoh, advisor, and his people, are living that slavery. What does that mean for you and me? That's when we living something this week. That's when we have to be ready to leave something behind. But when you leave something negative, you gotta really believe that it's gone. There's a story about one of the greatest Kabbalists. His name is the Kotzk Rebbe. They call him rabbi from Kotzk. Kotzk was a city in Poland, so they call him the rabbi that came from Kotzk. The real name is Menachem Mendel. So a student came to him and said, Rabbi, how long the evil will chasing us? He looked at their eyes and said, let me tell you something. I would not be busy worrying about some evil who's chasing you. I would be more busy about the evil that I'm chasing. And what do we learn from that? God getting out the Israelite out of Egypt. The question is, what does Egypt represent to you, to the one listening to me right now? What is that, Egypt, for you? Is it insecurity? Is it lacking of patience? What is your Egypt? What is your Pharaoh look like? And when you're getting out, you got to get out. Now, you need to remember, the story continues telling us, when they get out, Pharaoh changed his mind again, like he does all the time. And he said, you know what? I can't stand losing. You know that song from Police, can't stand losing. So he came and chased them again. He was a perfect loser in the last few weeks. And then they go into the Red Sea split, another miracle, using the 72 names. Those of you familiar with it, we're going to talk about it a little bit. Go to the other side, and Pharaoh and the soldier and the people die in the sea. As they arrive to the other side, they realize they arrived to a desert. They start to complain. They start thinking, where did he get us out? We came from a place of moles and beautiful, sira basar, meat, chicken, so much food. Get us to the desert now. Of course, God is telling Moses, don't worry, we're going to have water, we're going to have everything. We're going to have manna. Manna is a food come from the sky, the food of an angel. Wasn't so convincing, because change is a tough thing. If there is one thing that human beings say they love, but they don't, it's change. People say they love to change, but they want to control change. Otherwise, what's the difference between adventure, like adventure park, to chaos? Adventure parks is chaos in order. When you go to adventure park, you're doing all kind of crazy thing at that park that you wouldn't want those things to happen to you when you didn't order it. And those things happen in your life when you never order it. Can you imagine you are on the highway and your car starts to acting like you're in the adventure park? And you try to control it and you can't. If you don't, in the end of the road, you're going to come out okay from that. You're happy. It's adventure. So the difference between adventure and chaos is how much you truly believe and how much faith you have and how much certainty you have that the end result will be okay. But unfortunately, when you're getting out of Egypt, Egypt was controlling your mind. It wasn't just the slavery of the body. It was the slavery of the mind, slavery of the soul, that make you don't believe in great things can happen to you. That's what a slave behave like when you talk about slave. Slave is not a person who have less or more money A slave is a person that always reactive, always have to answer, always have to be right, because that person is a slave to their own behavior. Person who has to eat, addiction, slave to sex, food, drugs. You have slave. Slave is to climb into places of I'm going to get out of Egypt, but how do you get a slave out of Egypt and make them not slave? Now that's an art. That's the achievement God and Moses tried to achieve in this portion. And that's what you and me need to think about. Can we get out of that slave mentality that I have to be right, I have to say the last words? It's a need. You know, you ever look at the person who's more where people dream to be, they don't talk a lot. They don't react a lot. They know who they are. They carry themselves well. And that's it. You ever try to make a lion in the safari angry with you? The lion move his eyes and go back. You know he can beat you. You know that, so he doesn't get reactive. So all this reaction of slavery come from insecurity. So think about it like this, that Pharaoh and the slaving mentality in Egypt was to choke you in a way that even if you get out of the slavery, you want to go back. Not too long ago, it was on the news in LA that the FBI discovered about 35 people who were kidnapped as kids. And they become slave to sex, slave to stealing, robbery. The people who kidnap them make them work for them to make money. You know what happened with those kids? The scary part about that, they want to go back. They want to go back to the place of abuse because it was more familiar. So when things are more familiar to you, you think you need to stay there. Familiar not always mean right. Whatever you're familiar with mean that that's what you did in the last few weeks. That's what you did the last few years. That's what last 10 of years. It doesn't mean it's always right. For that reason, people don't get it, that sometimes leaving an existing thing into another will actually be the greatest thing. And I meet in my work as a rabbi or as a coach, somebody who give advice to people, I meet people who are not willing to understand priority. In the Talmud, they call it tadir v'sheno tadir, tadir kodem. Meaning, if you already have things that work well, keep it together. If you have things that not work well, make them better. Meaning, the things that work well, repeat. The things that not work well, stop doing that and fix it. This is what life is about. You know, I had one time an audio man that worked with me that keeps stepping on the wire of the audio, and that's why the camera keep losing the sound. And I asked him in the end, he said to me, I'm doing a lot of mistake. He said to me in the end, are you lately stepping on the wire? Or this is new? I said, it's new. I never step on a wire. So what makes you step on a wire? So, well, the room is too small. So what did you do before? I said, I used to push the thing forward. I said, I see. So why did you change? I said, I have no idea. So why you expect it to be the same? If you change something to worse, it's going to get worse. Most of the successful people are people who are focused on two things. If it's work, continue to do the same exact, don't change. Whatever doesn't work, change it. Is it so difficult? Is that formula hard to understand? I don't think so. But when a person is a slave in Egypt, he can't get the brain out of being a slave. That's a tough part. It's almost impossible. And for that reason, people stay slave. Abusive relationship, men or women, stay in a relationship. Abusive place of work, stay there. Bad pay in a place of work, stay there. I offer myself today to a lady, job, something, help. A lady who I know suffered for 20 years. Wouldn't change. Whatever I tried to tell her. Nothing. Zero. Why is that? Because people say to me, and people say it all the time, I don't know what's happening across that river, across this ocean. People are going to a snowstorm. They want to have a chain on the wheel. I say, you sure you need it? He said, well, if I need it, I want to make sure I have it. That's called safety, which is great. It's very organized. But you're losing something on the way to study something there. Sometimes by not doing things perfect, you learn how to perfect yourself better. In life, you either make it perfect or you perfect yourself. People who don't do things perfect themselves. People who do things perfect never perfect themselves because they get ready for all the problems possible. And I'm not asking you to be this way or another. This week portion, I'm just asking you to think about what type of slavery you leave behind. And are you ready to leave? And if you're not ready to leave, then leaving Egypt will be difficult. And that's why some of the people said to Moses, we want to go back. Can you imagine? We want to go back. Some of those people, the FBI captured. They said to the FBI, we want to go back. And the FBI said, but they abuse you sexually, money, slavery. Said, that's all what we're familiar with since we're age 5. So sad. Very difficult. I heard another story with the COVID that the mother came to see me. She had babies. And she said that her baby never saw a human being without covering the mouth. And now they think it's a regular thing. That's what they see. So whatever you experience as a human being from childhood, you have to always be ready to jump to the next level. Those of people who work with me, close, know me. I'm a jumper. I'm a jumper from city to city, place to place, idea to idea. Why? Because if you're sitting too long on the idea, what happened? How long are you going to sit on the egg that never hatch? How long? You gotta have some time. Give some time to yourself and start to have some priority. And for that reason, the story of leaving Egypt with Moses, splitting this beautiful Red Sea, unbelievable. Going to the other end, now deal with the people. We talk about a lot of people. A lot of people. Family, children, pregnant women, everybody together. Getting out of Egypt as a nation, through the sea, to the desert. And now, where's the pizza? Where's the hamburger? Can I have sushi? Can you imagine how many orders you have to get? One leader. Moses, in the name of the real leader, God. Tough job. Tough job. Not the physical part. To get the brain of a human being to want to be a leader. Most people don't want to be a leader. Most people don't want to be rich. Most people don't want to be famous. They don't. And they come up with all stupid, humble idea. It's not humble, it's ego. People who don't want to be famous, rich, or better every day, that's the ego. The real ego of a human being is when they don't want to get to the full potential. That's the ego. That's the ego. People who are willing to go to a really full potential, that's humbleness. Because if you try to go to a full potential, those of you experience that with me, you get disappointed. You fail. If I go play basketball or tennis, or if I move to New York from Israel, and from New York I went to Toronto, Canada, driving a car with one mirror on the left, nothing in here, nothing in the middle, the truck, I don't even know where I'm going. Of course you get lost. Of course you miss the exit. Of course there is problem. But those chances I took make me who I am today. You gotta start getting out of your Egypt. Stop being afraid. It's the place where you're living, serving you in the last 10 years, 5 years. Is it good? It cannot get better. Are you ready to take a little chance and get out? In the end of the portion, we have Amalek. Who is Amalek? It's a nation that if you add the letters of Amalek, you get 240, which means bitter, mar. Amalek Also, numberically value of the word in Hebrew called safek, meaning doubts. So, when you are always living your life in doubts, I'm not sure I'm the right husband, I'm not sure I'm fulfilling my potential, I'm not sure my teacher really understands me, I'm not sure my coach knows what I'm saying. When you're in that type of situation, you're never going to get it right. That's a different type of slavery. If you don't know, then let the people who know guide you. Very, very important. Is the sound okay, by the way? If you don't know, then be humble enough to go. People like me, that's a service we give. People come to see me. I give them coach. I work on Sunday too. Step by step. But when they tell you, you got to do it. What happens if you start challenging the people that you ask the question? Then why you ask? Why you ask? What's the purpose of asking if you don't want to do it? Once you ask, be open to be guided. You ever saw a person start fighting with the navigation system? Why did you put the street of your house? Start fighting. Navigation said turn right. No! You're going to tell them, well, what's that all about? Okay? So that's the whole story of the Parashat. Getting out of Egypt, opening the Red Sea, crossing to the other end, complain, miracle happening with the manna, and then the nation of the doubts, Amalek, is coming, and our job is to overcome it. So of course, my job today is to give you another story to all what I just said. From the Ari, actually Rabbi Chaim Vital, where I named my organization after. Vital transformation. Rabbi Chaim Vital. So Rabbi Chaim Vital said, I want to share with you something my teacher shared with me. Rabbi Isaac Luria took the whole parsha, this whole story I tell you, and he said, you know what? Forget the details of the story. Those details are not physical, they are spiritual. Now it's going to be spiritual. So you say, let's go step by step. You ready? Let's read it. דרוש נאה מעניין ביציאת מצרים. What does getting out of Egypt mean? Say Ari to the Rabbi Chaim Vital. It's a רמז של יציאת הנשמה מן הגוף. This is when the soul leaves the body. When the soul leaves the body, that means we left Egypt. So Egypt is the body, the soul now, after a person dying, leave the body. ויהי בשלח פרעה את העם, שיצא נשמה מן הגוף שהוא פרעה, מלך מצרים, העוף שהוא קשה העוף. What does that mean? Why פרעה? פרעה means the back of the neck. The back of the neck called עורף, like פרעה, the same letter. So we're getting out of the stubbornness. We're getting out of the body consciousness. We're getting out of the selfish into death. What does death mean? Pure soul, no more body. But there is a procedure that needs to take place. כוחות היצרה הולכים ורודפים אחרי בני ישראל. All the negative thing we did, all the conversation that you have with your evil side, that try to convince you to just think about yourself, just be selfish, just be aware of who you are, those evilness, this evil, chasing you to the Red Sea. So instead of saying the Egyptian and Pharaoh from Egypt chasing us, what's really chasing us is those things that we did. Because when a person dies, the soul is about to leave the body. The body is the force that always convincing us to be negative. If the body always convincing you to be negative, what convinced the body to do their job? Very good. Non-physical force. We call those non-physical force evil inclination, Satan, angel of death, whatever you want to name it. Evil forces. Those evil forces, when a person is about to die, about to leave the body, chasing the person. Who is the person, truly? Shua Neshama. You want to know who you are? You are the soul. You are not the body. להזיקה, מפני שהוא יצרה, והוא הולך ומסטין ובעל ולוקח נשמתו. So that evil thing that you did, chasing you, to speak bad about you, he said, this person did bad, this person steal, this person cheat, this person was not thinking about good stuff. I gotta take his soul, I gotta harm him, I gotta make negativity. And what do? You run to the sea. Which sea? The Red Sea. How do you call the Red Sea? Suf. Suf. Suf means bamboo. It was a change in translation because the sea of reeds. Reeds mean bamboo in the old language. So they call it Red Sea, but it's not red, it's blue. I've been there. So the Red Sea is basically suf. Suf, it also means sof, end. So what does that mean? That the negative force, all the evil thing we did, chasing us to the sea. What is the sea? Ayam ugenom shu ayam nar dino. The sea is what people call hell. What is hell? When a person dies, okay, there's a lot of attachment to the soul. Now the soul is pure. But because we're doing the same sin over and over again, let's say you get angry every day, or you cheat every day, you steal every day, those acts of negativity become something non-physical, metaphysical. So it attaches to the soul. What do you do with that? You gotta go to hell, to the construction, and they shave it out of your soul. Some by fire, some by other technique. So when people talk about hell, like a bad place, in Kabbalah, hell is actually a place of cleansing. You gotta get cleansed. You can wear the same white shirt every day. Eventually you gotta put laundry. Would you say laundry is a bad place? No. Would you say dry cleaning is a bad place? No. What it does, clean. It cleans those things, negativity, so you can get ready for the next level. Again, it's all about movement from one level to another. So they get to the Red Sea, that's like Nar Dino, the river of fire. So Pharaoh now chasing them. They are facing the Gehenom. What do you do? Vayitzaku el Hashem. You're screaming and yelling and praying to God. Vayamru el Moshe. They look at Moses. Who is Moses? Again, the story is a metaphysical story. Moses is the Yetzer Tov. Moses is the good side of yourself. You have bad side and good side. The bad side is chasing you to the sea, which is hell. You now have hell. You have your negativity chasing you, and you have Moses as a leader. Moses is your good inclination, the good thinking. What do you do to Moses? So, you look, here is fire, here is enemy. Amibli and Kvarim. If there is no cemetery in Egypt that you took us to be buried here, that's what the Israelites actually tell Moses. Lamud b'midbar. מה זה המדבר? חיבוט הקבר. What is that desert that they were talking about? They talk about the burial. Because after the soul leaves the body, there's negativity chasing the soul. The soul see hell and see that all this, before the hell, person has to be buried. The burial is suffering. The first 7 days, bad, because it's the separation between soul and body. Not easy. So they're telling Moses, the good inclination, why did I do good if I have to go through all of it? לא די הקבר בחיים והצער. Not enough that I had enough suffering in my life that I have to be buried now. מה זאת עשית לנו להוציאנו? They talk to the good inclination, to the Moses, why did you take us out of Egypt? Why did you take us out of the body? Egypt was better. The body was better. All selfish, all about me. חדל ממנו ונעבדה את מצרים. We rather, this is from the Parsha, we rather worship Egypt, worship the evil inclination, worship the negativity of יצר רע בעולם הזה, ולא היינו סובלים ממנו עדינים. Why do I need to jump into hell to clean myself? Why do I need to jump into a grave to clean the body consciousness? I rather stay in the body, have a good time, go to party, and that's it. Why do I need all of this? כי טוב לנו לעבוד את מצרים, ממותנו במדבר. Better to go to Egypt than this. Because the death is not easy, it's scary. People are afraid of dying, all people. ומשיב משה, Moses answered, who is Moses? Remember? The good side of your soul. שהוא היצר הטוב, אל תיראו. Don't be afraid. Moses answered, your good side, answer yourself. Don't be, אל תיראו. מן העונש הזה. מפני שהוא לטובתכם. Please don't look at that punishment as a bad punishment. It's not bad punishment. It's like laundry machine. Like a dishwasher. It's only for you. להסיר מנפשותיכם המזיקים. Because The only reason it happened, so we can remove all the negativity from your soul. Because what's going to happen? You're going to go to hell, which is the sea, the Red Sea, and all Pharaoh, which is the evil inclination, Satan, angel of death, and all his friend, which is all the bad things you did. When you go into hell, they stay in hell, but you come clean out of hell. So it's almost like a laundry. You're going through it, and then all your negativity, it's leaving your. Have you ever wondered about one thing you tried to change and you can't? Have you ever wondered why it doesn't happen? You try to change, it doesn't happen. It's attached to us. So hell will take that away from us so we can become purified. Don't look at hell as a suffering. Same Moses. Itziatzvu ur'u et Yeshuat Hashem. Come and behold and see the greatness of God, of the Lord, say Moses in the Pasha. But what does that mean? You will see the beautiful about hell, the beautiful about the cemetery, that when you go through that little pain, those evil, that you couldn't get rid of it your entire life, that stupidity, that ego, that lust, that whatever that you're fighting every day with, will never come after you. Because that sea, which is called hell, translated Rabbi Chaim Vital, is burned, and now you come out in the other end perfectly clean. What is it written in Parasha? Early in the morning, what it mean early in the morning? שיורדת על השבת בדין גנום, ויהום את מחנה מצרים, early in the morning, it said that God destroyed all the power of the Egyptian. It doesn't mean really Egyptian or Pharaoh. It's the power of all the negativity that make fun of you all your life. ונשארו שם. והמים להם חומה. ואחר פצועים אז בגיהנום. עדיין. ג' ימים בתענית. And after that, when the soul is getting out of hell, clean. But what does the soul need now? Food. What is this? The Israelites said to Moses in the Parasha, food. But what they say, they didn't ask for food in the beginning. I don't know if you remember the portion. They said, we don't have water. What water are they looking for? Torah, study, spirituality. The soul said, okay, now I'm perfectly clean. I went to hell. I went to the cemetery. Now I want soul food. What is soul food? Torah. And that's why, if you remember the story, that the water was bitter, and Moses took a piece of wood and threw it into the water. What was the piece of wood? Etz Chaim el Machzikim ba. It's the tree of life of the Torah. It makes everything sweet. Vayimteku hamayim. And then God said, all the disease you ever had, you will never see that again. Why? Because you will cure through hell. So most people look at hell as a bad news. Hell is a procedure. Whatever you couldn't clean in this life, person has to go to hell to come clean. It's the way it is. Those of you who ever work with guns, I was a soldier, so the way you clean the gun every day, or the way you clean the boat or the car, you have to clean it. Sometimes you have to use all kind of thing to clean it before Passover, so it will be clean. But now when it's clean, you have to feed it. It's not enough to be clean. So this is, I'm stopping the explanation in the middle just to get you inspired of how far this story go. So most people look at the story of this week portion, Egypt, Pharaoh, what a beautiful movie. Remember, I forgot what is the name of that guy, the Ten Commandment movie. And he's standing there with the beer. Let my people go. It's much deeper than that. It's happening every day. Every day. So you have the pain that you're going through in this life, but then you have the pain that you can't change. How many of us try to change and we can't? We can't. You try to become a better person, you can't. You try to be more forgiving, you can't. More secure, you can't. You want to do more pray to God, you can't. Something's stopping you. What happened? Evil inclination hold you back. Don't let you do it. What do we do? Gotta burn it. People say go to hell as a curse. Go to hell as a gift. Hell considered the chamber just before eternity, before the Garden of Eden. So when you go to that, get clean, you have a little ego, burn that. You have a little, just don't feel that the ego is yours. Don't feel that the lust is yours. Make sure you remember, every negative thing you have is part of that Pharaoh. It's part of that Egypt. Otherwise you can never leave it. If you think that you are jealous because you are jealous, then you and Pharaoh are good friends. But if you say, I'm jealous because that's what the evil tried to inject into my personality, but it's not my personality. My personality is perfect. But I was in Egypt. I was with Pharaoh. I become contaminated. That's it. You got disease. What do we do? Gonna go through that cleansing. Going to the hell. Clean that. That's what happened to the soul. So those of you excited about this parasha should be very excited. Because instead of going to hell while you are alive, you are actually reading the Torah this week. And that reading clean you. Clean the issue. Now please, before this week portion, I encourage you please to write down 5 things that you for sure cannot change. 5 things for sure can't change it. You try. Spiritual thing, not making money, not getting angry. Tough. Choose 5 things. Now, I recommend you circle only 1 after you choose 5. And that one is when the Torah coming, you look at it, whatever in your own hand, writing, and you look at it. And you say, Hashem, instead of going to hell for this, I'm not interested in this Yetzer Hara. I'm not interested in that Pharaoh in my life. But I also can say no to it. People who are addicted to food, they don't want to eat, but they eat. Don't want to drink, but they drink. Don't want to cheat, but they cheat. Don't want to steal, but they steal. Why? They know it's bad for them. Why? Can win Pharaoh. You cannot. There is no way you can win Pharaoh. The Talmud, the Mishnah, the Zohar, telling you. Barati Torah, Barati Yetzirah, Barati Lo, Torah Tavlin. God telling you, I create the evil. So you can overcome it. But you cannot overcome it on your own. You have to attach it to spirituality. So when you read the Torah on this week Shabbat, think about this issue that you want to overcome. What is the issue that you want to overcome? Don't worry about it. Give it to the boss. King David used to say it. Send God your misery and he will take care of business. It doesn't mean you should not do nothing. You should do everything you can. But understand, it's not up to you to finish it. It's up to you to start it. And if you do that, the joy is tremendous. So they're getting out of Egypt now, getting a different meaning. So let's go back to the story. So now, they're going in front of the sea. Now, we're going back to the physical story. And people start to complain. Moses talked to God. And God and Moses have discussion. Say, listen, Moses, we have a situation here. Moses said, what's going on? So Pharaoh and his people chasing you. The sea is going to be open. Only the one who's worthy will be able to see that opening in the sea. So Moses said, who's worthy? Say, you, Moses. So that's it. Say, yes. So what do I need to do for them to also be worthy? So, well, I give you the 72 name of God. It's a combination of how to bring, dematerialize all physical matter. It's opening. But you have to dematerialize something non-physical inside of your spiritual to be able to see it. Because the eyes are illusion. You cannot see it with your eyes. If you see it with your eyes, it's already an illusion. And the 72 names are in Ain Bet. It's called the eyes level. So you cannot really see it. So Moses said, what do we do? What do we do? And God answered Moses a weird answer. Ma titzak elai? Why are you praying to me? Ba'atika talia milta. Short answer. He say if you pray to the Eli, there is Eli, it's good level for miracle. You want a regular miracle here and there, you can do that. Because Eli is a high level, you'd kavavke, touch government, very high level. But sometimes, as Rabbi Yehuda Tzvi Brandwein said, צריך לשדד מערכות. Sometimes you have to engineer different performance. You want miracle מעל הטבע, you want a miracle beyond. What do we do? What do we do? So for that, if you want to create total miracle, 100% miracle, you have to cancel one thing about your personality. Moses say, challenge me, I will talk to them. So you have to be ready to die for what you believe without killing somebody else. Let's process it. Have to be ready to die for what you believe without killing somebody else. That's being like self-sacrifice kind of a thing. Yeah. Mesirut nefesh. Meaning, you have to jump into the sea as if you see it open and then it will open. Because sometimes in life, you have to see so you can believe. But sometimes you have to believe so you can see. Life is not all the time can be open to everybody to see. That's why I always tell people, sometimes you have to do not perfect things in preparation, so the rest of it not perfect is your miracle. Do 80 so the 20, wow, I can't believe it's work. I have a student, a client, a friend, I don't know what to tell it. And I do a lot of coaching, one-on-one. So sometimes when I do coaching, I do all kind of weird coaching. Weird coaching would be to take a person to the worst restaurant on the list. Or look what the worst restaurant exists, and I take my client and we sit together in the worst restaurant to see how he or she react to the situation. Sometimes I coach people to go shopping with them in a supermarket. And they said, this is actually the coaching. I said, absolutely. Let me see how you're doing. What you buy, why you buy, what you're doing, how you choose. Everything tell about you. When you want to create miracle, you have to have Ba'atika Talia Milta. You want to reach to a place called Mazala, it's a place called Keter. But to reach to that level, you have to cancel something called Bechina Dalet. Something which means what you think about you, the selfish engine. How do you cancel the selfish engine? Only by willing to give up your life. You hear about so many stories about mother trying to save her kids. The kid's been saved, she's been saved, father's saved, everybody's saved. You hear about people in the war time. I heard so many stories that there is a grenade being thrown into the tent. And one soldier jump on the grenade, so all the 20 other soldiers will be safe, and the grenades don't exploding. What happened? They check it, they try to, nobody understands what happened. That soldier tried self-sacrifice himself, so everybody else will be safe. Not like we see crazy people who are ready to explode themselves with others. That's not self-sacrifice, that's stupidity and evil, pure evil. You gotta get to that place, at least in the mind this week. What do you believe so much? How does your belief system look like that you're ready to go for it? This is it. You're ready to go for it. If you leave this world, God forbid, today, would you say that you accomplished what you came here to accomplish? Second question, what is it that you want to accomplish? Third question, what are you ready to do to accomplish what you didn't accomplish yet? Fourth question, or fifth, I don't know, how far are you ready to go with that? Last question, are you ready to lose your life for the purpose of what you believe? You don't have to answer all those questions, but you have to wake yourself up, because to get out of Egypt, of Pharaoh, to the other end, you have to believe. But it's not regular belief. It's more than belief. It's maybe knowing. It's not knowing, actually. It's more than knowing. Atika is more. It's like, I know, let's say, I believe I can ride a bicycle, or I believe I can swim. I know how to swim, I swim. So I'm in a level in swimming, let's say swimming. I believe I can swim to almost I know how to swim. Between, because my leg don't go up anymore. I'm not in good shape the last 2 years. There's people, I don't think if they know what they believe. They swim. I see those people who ski. I don't know how to ski. I go to ski, I know that I don't know. But there are people who know how to ski. They don't think about it. They think about the next phone call they have to take while they ski. Because the ski is not the issue. This week, we have a chance to get out of Egypt. We have a chance to get out of the wrong businesses to a good business. But you have to be willing to sacrifice something. You have to be willing to let go of something. If you're not willing to let go of nothing, why would you expect something in return? If you're selfish, you will be surrounded by selfish friends. If you're insecure, you will be surrounded by insecure people. If you only suffer from fear, you will be surrounded by fearful people. It's your life. That's why you have to challenge yourself. See where you are becoming less. In the area where you're becoming less, maybe in that area you could study something. So the story of getting out of Egypt is basically getting out of one consciousness of how you think into another. Now, what it would be the healthy consciousness then? And that's I'm taking you to Zohar Beshalach, verse 247. ועל כן עבודת הקדוש ברוך הוא היא לאהוב אותו. The purpose of the entire spirituality is to love the Creator. The Creator, God, whatever you want to call it, higher power. You have to love it. Some people are ashamed to say there is higher power because the ego is, they say, if I say there is higher power, then where does that put me? That's make me too small. So forget higher power, forget God. So they give it sometimes a name, higher power. But they don't really work on themselves to love that higher power. They just make it a passive higher power. I don't know if you follow what I'm telling you. But you have to love the force. If you believe there is a force creating you, beside nature, which is passive, there is a force of creating you. Ze eli v'anveu. Then when you cross the sea, what happened after we cross the sea? We sing a song of gratitude. Because meaning, you're saying, wait a minute. I'm going physical story, Egyptian Pharaoh, Red Sea, splitting by self-sacrifice, going to the other end. Life seemed good. No, I'm stopping with gratitude, with appreciation. Why? Because I know that my soul purpose is to get connected to where the soul came from. If you believe your soul came from God, if you believe that your soul came from the Creator, then that soul has a need to love the Creator. So if I'm not working every day out to love the Creator more and more, I'm missing something. Then I'm not getting something. Something is not working right. And if that what happened to me, then of course Amalek, the force of doubts, the source of Mrirut, Mar, because if you take Amalek, Ayin is 17, Mem is 40, Lamed is 30, and Kuf is 100, together to 40 if I'm not mistaken. Mar. Mar means bitter. So the Amalek is coming knocking on your door. Doubts start knocking on your door. Doubts about yourself, doubts about your wife, your husband, your children, the future, the business, only doubts. Do you understand how difficult it is to live and manage a life full of doubts? But the doubt is always a result. It's never the cause. It's a result of something else. When you give a crack opening for doubts to come in, doubt is coming in. There's a student who came to his Rebbe, to his teacher, to his rabbi. He said, Rabbi, I have all kind of doubts, thought. When I'm praying, I need some miracle to solve that problem. The rabbi said, I want you to go to one of my students and have a tea and have a discussion on that. I went to a student, it was about like 9:30 at night, snow outside, knocking on the door. Nobody opened the door, nobody cared, and he heard people inside. The guy went sleep in the hotel and came back at 6 a.m. Knock on the door. Now they opened the door. I said, welcome. Can we make you breakfast, tea, coffee, cappuccino, everything, latte, no latte, everything. He said, first, before I start my conversation, I want to ask you something. It's kind of weird. I saw you from the window last night, knocking on the door. You ignore me. And now I'm coming, you treat me like I'm a king? What's wrong with you? So, well, in my house we have one rules. So what's your rules? Say, we let people in the house when we want them, not when they want. And he listened and said, wow, this is a message. He said, do you want to ask more questions? I said, no, I got what I want. He smiled, big smile, to go back to his teacher. He said, I think I got the message. The doubts are our choice. If you let them in, they stay there. If you say, not right now, please, doubts, come tomorrow, I can give you some in 12:15. You have to decide when the doubt is coming. And I'm not joking, you have to put it in your schedule. Thinking about my doubts, Tuesday, 12 or 5. But you have to put it like that. Because if the doubts attack you what the doubts want, then you're already lost. You have to talk to it. Doubts, doubts, doubt. Almost like you talk to a little dog. Please, sit. Sit. That's what you said to the doubts. Sit. Not right now. We're going to talk about it later. And you will see how the doubts behave nice. So, why the doubts came? Why all these things came? Because the Israelites were busy with so much change, transformation, 1 week portion. Can you imagine the transformation of getting out of Egypt, of slavery, seeing the miracle of self-sacrifice to the Red Sea, crossing to the other end, dealing with no water, getting the water, getting the food, getting the manna. In your mind still wonder, is that it? I mean, doesn't look luxurious. Hopefully it's, anybody look for a paycheck, somebody pay for the insurance. It's easy to be slave to somebody else than have your own business. When you have your own business, you're responsible if it works or doesn't work. That's when you're getting out of Egypt. But most people don't want to get out of Egypt. That's why Amalek is in their house every day. The doubt is there all the time. The question, my dear friend, this week portion, are you willing to join us, to climb to the next level, by be open to grow, be open to listen. What is that you need to do? If you're already in a place that you feel you are there, pick up the phone. Start your coaching lesson. Start the way that getting advice or study with us how to get out of Egypt. So step by step things can get better for you. You deserve it for you, not for nobody else. When you are in a good place, then your family is in a good place, everything is in a good place, all will work out. But when you're not capable to get out of Egypt and you start getting angry, it's nice. The anger might help you for 5 minutes to feel good. But in the end of the day, you're still stuck. So get out of the stuckness and join us to get out of Egypt. Don't forget, Wednesday night, we have something that's also getting out of Egypt. It's called Tu B'Shvat. It's the holiday of the trees, meaning it's the time that the trees actually grow against the gravity of the ground. The tree, if you think about it, is a seed that take all the nutrition from the ground and give it to us through the fruit. That's why we have celebration when we eat the food together and cookies and wine. And we do that to meditate so we can be like the tree. We can go against the gravity of the ground and grow, against Egypt and grow. That's why I always Tu B'Shvat follow this week portion is together to explain to us what does that mean to get out of Egypt. Thank you and have a great week.